Hello again, welcome to my week 9 video. I just want to review some of these health campaigns that we had in this week's content, and without running the risk of being redundant with my blog post, I want to introduce just a couple of the differences in the structure of the health campaigns. And then I want to introduce two hopefully slightly different approaches to health campaign that I thought are pertinent, that hopefully nobody else has thought of. So just reviewing some of these quickly, like the Bell Let's Talk, Upworthy, the 23.5 hours campaign. There's a few others I want to mention, and that is Know Your Lemons, which is a breast cancer awareness campaign, Movember, and then Move Your Way, which is adaptation of the physical activity guidelines for the US. And also the one that was quite powerful was the BC doctors walking with their participants, or with their patients rather. And they're all different structurally. I like how the 23.5 hour campaign posed a question and then ended with a question. That was quite neat, kind of almost a cliffhanger, giving an opportunity for the individuals who are involved to answer that question. So in many ways take ownership for that answer, which is quite neat. And then the BC doctors walking with their patients was quite powerful, because it goes to show that, like the next week's video, which is Right to Play, these ambassadors being at the forefront and leading that promotion. So very cool, very neat. And they all had a common denominator, and that was that sentiment. So if we as individuals aren't necessarily dealing with some of these challenges, we certainly know somebody who is. And so we all have a part to play. And then the second component during this review is introducing two different angles to a health promotion campaign. The first being more of a spiritual approach. And we know holistically as an individual, you have mental, physical, and spiritual faculties. And so if you negate one of those areas, you are risking the health and wellness of the individual as a whole. And so I thought about the health of the HIV positive campaign, how they put the blood on the actual poster, and the unwillingness for individuals to touch it. And then I thought about the parallel with the biblical narrative about Jesus when he would actually approach lepers. And lepers in many ways are really a metaphor or similar to HIV positive, those with HIV, because it's not only just physical challenges, they also have this this label of being a social outcast and this prejudice against them, which is extremely, in many ways, more damaging than the physical component or the physical aspect. So, and Jesus approached these individuals on many occasions, and he healed them. But in more powerful statement, he was saying that the social system, this prejudice, this understanding that these individuals were cursed, he was breaking that down, and he was showing that love. And I believe that we can all, and we should all, do that as well. And so that HIV campaign was very powerful, and really was a statement in a spiritual sense in my mind. And then the second approach that I thought was neat, and I was trying to understand this from the 6 steps of the health, of building a health promotion campaign, is with this kind of stakeholder buy-in. And I believe that's step number 2. And this is very neat because Simon Sinek, who's that inspirational author and speaker, he talks about a pharmaceutical chain, and CVS, and how they're competing with, I believe, is Walgreens. And this was during the anti-smoking campaign. And what they did, what the owner did, and what the chain, what they actually did, is instead of just moving the cigarettes to the back of the store, like Walgreens did, they actually got rid of the cigarettes. And they took about a $2 billion hit, apparently, in the revenue. Now, at the end, they got increased shares and they actually made more money, but that's not the point. The point is that they were willing to make that stand, that buy-in, for the health and wellness of not only their employees, but their community. And I found that very powerful, and I believe we need more of that. And once again, I would like to do that in some small way within my context and these students. And I just hope that hopefully those two angles will help us bring a little bit of a different understanding to the health promotion campaign. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a good week, and we will see you next week. Bye.